And during my years in the business, I've seen a number of people literally transformed by getting into cycling.
Jack Malysa grew up in Matawan, New Jersey. After high school, he went to work at the Midland Glass Factory in Aberdeen. He worked at Midland Glass for 9 years until he decided that he wanted more out of life, and a career change would give him that. He became a real estate agent, but an economic recession in the late 70s made it difficult. He began working at a bike shop in Lakewood and then in Howell. In 1982, he decided to buy his own shop and acquired a bike store at 739 Park Avenue in Freehold, New Jersey. He owned and operated Freehold bicycles until 2016, when he retired and sold the shop. It is now an exercise place called Jungle Fitness.
In the early days, it was the start of mail order business, and that was really even before the internet. It was mail order, and the fact that people could get products cheaper than I could offer them because of the fact of they were basically just running a big warehouse, and I was running a brick and mortar store with a lot more overhead. So that was the start of the change, and of course from mail order came the internet, and that was even more drastic changes, certainly. The fact that in most cases people didn't have to pay sales tax. Prices came down even more, so it was, the retailers would kind of joke that the internet pricing was a race to the bottom, like who could offer the lowest price, and it's like, and I'm still wondering where is it going to end, how low can they go? But it certainly puts a lot of pressure on smaller businesses. It puts pressure on suppliers to the businesses. I mean, we found that in some cases, the public could buy a recognized product at less than my wholesale cost. And when you get into that kind of a situation, that doesn't bode well for a small brick and mortar store. I existed for a long time with Walmart here in town. We had Toys R Us. We had a couple different, mass merchandisers like that. And that didn't affect me very much at all because it was really just a different clientele. It was a different product I was selling. The internet was able to expose my customers to the same product that I was selling at a much less price, and again that was huge changes, and upset a lot of people. I'm sure it wasn't just in the bicycle business per se. This happened in a lot of places, but when a supplier, a well-known supplier, allows that kind of selling to go on where the public can get it less than my wholesale price, but yet if that public person has a problem with that, they want them to come to me to remedy it. It's like something's off there. So when the public can buy a product at less cost than I can get at wholesale cost, okay? But yet for a warranty question, that manufacturer of that product that has let it go out that cheaply, completely ignoring the retail that supports them and services them, that manufacturer expects that dealer to stand behind the warranty after that person has bought it for less than I can buy it for.
What does it mean to stand behind the warranty?
If they have to, a part breaks down.
And then you have to fix it.
Yeah. And then I have to do the processing, to get my credit back for them, So basically, I've lost the sale on it, but they want me to help them out with the customer. It's like, do you see where I'm at now? Do you understand that? So, we're talking more, retail here, straight retail. And again, the whole retail scene has changed, and because of the internet, and the pricing has just changed so much. I mean, I actually just this morning before I got here, we had a New York news station on, and they had a 5-minute blip about how retail in New York City is going through an apocalypse. That it's so hard. There's so many regulations for individual store owners, and of course how younger people are just going to Amazon or wherever online to order something. It's changing rapidly, and I could see my business, my industry was not headed in the right direction, and luckily I had the option to say, okay, you know what, it's been a good ride, and it's time to move away. For me, it was my time. I went out on my terms. I didn't feel cut short at all. I miss the people. We had a lot of good customers. I miss working on bikes. I enjoyed that. I don't miss running a business. Running a business in New Jersey, there's just so much regulations, and there's so much pressure on the expense side. That expenses keep going up. But because of the internet situation, prices are held in check. You can't just raise prices to overcome. If you get a 15% increase in your insurance bill for the following year, it's not that you can turn around and raise your prices for 15%. You just won't be able to sell it. So you're just getting squeezed. Small business people are getting squeezed, and a lot of it is the red tape and regulation by government. So when you say support, it's more the opposite. It's anti-support, and I give any business person nowadays a lot of credit, because they have to go through a lot of stormy seas to be successful. And if one area kind of breaks down, they can go out of business. Yeah, my mom was pretty much a stay-at-home mom. I was one of 5 boys. I was the middle of 5 boys. So my mom pretty much stayed home. She got a little bit of a job later on in life. And my dad was pretty much a career worker with the Pennsylvania Railroad, which changed to the Penn Central Railroad. So, and that was his job, after World War II service, that was the only job he had. And again, which was much more common. And we were kind of brought up that way. And I was started to head in that way, And luckily, I was able to get off that train. I've certainly gotten into grow and learn more about Freehold and enjoy the town a lot more. I mean, originally when we had started a store in Freehold, we lived in Jackson, and eventually, I'm trying to think how many years. I don't know, it was 5 or 6 years after starting the store, we moved up here in the Freehold because we did enjoy it that much. So.